Good evening and welcome to the big story that we are tracking, a 2-week extension of the lockdown in India. By the time this ends, this is going to be perhaps the longest lockdown of its type in the world. But this is being done in order to ensure that the spread of the COVID-19 infection doesn't get out of control. Now, what's been announced today, and I'm going to bring you those details, is the definition of the country into 3 zones. There is the green, the red, and the orange zone as well. So what is allowed in each zone, that's what I'm going to try and tell you right now. So this is what is allowed across all zones. All goods traffic is to be permitted across states. So that's something that's important. OPDs and medical clinics in red, orange, and green zones are being allowed. Again, across all zones, so if you're unwell, you can go to a hospital without a problem. However, you will not be allowed inside a clinic or an OPD in a containment zone. Now, this is an important point, the entire issue of a containment zone. And I think I need to spell it out a little bit more over here. Because people keep asking, what is a containment zone and what is a hotspot, what is a red zone? So let me just try and spell it out over here. A red zone is an area where the largest number of COVID-19 patients exist. There are several districts, hundreds in the country, and we'll bring that up for you in a moment. Inside each of these red zones, there are containment zones. That's where definitive cases of COVID-19 exist. So that area, perhaps a street, perhaps a couple of streets, is locked down. People cannot come in, they cannot go out. Those are the red zones in the country. The maximum number of COVID cases are over there. Then, of course, there is the larger area. I was talking about the containment zone. Then there is the larger area, which is the red zone over there. Now, there are guidelines on what will be allowed in these red zones beyond what we have seen thus far. So let me try and spell out some of those as well. Remember, 130 districts in those as far as red zones are concerned. So private offices up to with a strength of up to 33% will be allowed. A larger number of activities are allowed in red zones. So all standalone neighborhood shops can remain open. So that remains the same, no malls. But your local shop, that remains open. E-commerce is allowed, but only for essential goods. So that's again, there was a demand that all items be allowed through e-commerce. That's not happening in red zones. Construction in urban areas with on-site workers is allowed. However, if you want labor from outside to come, that's not allowed. Construction of renewable energy projects is allowed in these red zones as well. So all of these in the areas worst affected, most number of cases of COVID, these are things which will be allowed right now. Remember, the instruction is you really need to be at home unless you're performing an essential function. You are allowed to work, but under very severe restrictions. Work from home is what is really being encouraged. So that's what's allowed in red zones. Orange zones, everything that is allowed in red zones plus taxis, cab aggregators with 1 driver and 1 passenger. What else is allowed in orange zones? Inter-district movement for people is permitted, but only for some activities. So if you believe that you could just move from one district to another because you wanted to travel, not allowed. 4-wheelers are allowed. In orange zones, 2 passengers and a driver are allowed. 2-wheelers are allowed. So a driver, a rider, and a pillion rider, they are both allowed in orange zones. Let's also take a look at green zones, all activities except those barred nationwide. So now let's also tell you what more is allowed in a green zone where there are no COVID cases that we know of. Buses with up to 50% seating capacity is allowed. Social distancing is the norm over there, and bus depots can therefore operate only up to 50% of capacity in these green zones. Liquor shops are allowed with no more than 5 people at a time. It's still being clarified whether liquor shops are allowed in red zones. At the moment, it appears it's not allowed in red zones, but they are certainly allowed in green zones at this shop, no more than 5 people at a time over there. So therefore, the question which actually arises is what remains banned, and this is why this is important. No air travel, no rail travel, no metro travel, no interstate travel by road. So this is similar to what exists now. Schools shut, colleges shut, other educational institutions shut, hotels shut, restaurants shut. People being discouraged to go to places of worship. Cinema halls shut, malls shut, gymnasiums and sports complexes shut as well. Social, political, cultural and other gatherings are discouraged. So you have to be in your home. Again, and this is a critical point, particularly in a country as religious as ours, a gathering at religious places for the public is banned. That's not allowed right now. So you need to stay at your home. You can only travel under very specific guidelines. Work from home in certain areas, certain industries allowed. Only 33% of the workforce is allowed. The rest have to be at home. So what we'll now try and do is actually go across to our correspondents who are in different zones in this country. Arvind Gunasekar is in a red zone. Ratnadeep Chaudhary joins us from a green zone in Guwahati. And who else have we got? We've got Sneha Merikoshi as well, and she joins us from an orange zone. So let me go across to Arvind first. Arvind, this is the point that's important. Are you being allowed to work in a red zone, and if so, under what circumstances?
Vishnu, like you have been saying that the entire country has been divided into 3 zones. One red zone, second one is orange zone, and third one is a green zone. Red zones are the districts where larger corona case outbreaks have been reported. So as on date, around 130 districts across the country have been identified as red zones or hotspots. In fact, if we could compare with the previous list, as on April 15, around 170 red zone districts were there, that has been reduced to 130 as on date. So it's a sign of improvement. So like you said, what all the things allowed in a red zone? In fact, most of the lockdown measures, most of the strict measures that are still as on date will be continuing even post May 3rd also. So red zone are not much of an ease for any of the red zone districts, but few things only for the industries, only for the essential items, everything is allowed. Coming to the industrial part, coming to the companies part, all those essential companies will be allowed to function as normal, but none of the non-essential things will be allowed to function post May 3rd.
All right, Arvind and Sneha, orange zone, what is allowed beyond what is allowed in a red zone?
Well, Vishnu, in Kerala specifically, the state government had already taken certain exemptions from the central government, especially with the rural and urban areas not very clearly demarcated. So a lot of activities which otherwise were not permitted in orange zones were already functioning in Kerala, like you had manufacturing, farming, agriculture, plantations, certain industrial units, construction units also functioning in several urban areas of the orange zones also. So that likely to continue. In terms of how much of the offices can be opened, private offices can further be opened, is something that the Chief Minister would be looking at. But even though Kerala has 10 orange zones, 2 red zones and 2 green zones, and if you look at the overall districts, within the orange zones also there are hotspots, like in Thiruvananthapuram. Right now you have around 8 hotspot areas which are locally demarcated according to the state, which will literally work like containment zones. So besides that, a lot of other things may improve, may be lenient right now. Even in terms of inter-district travel, what is being told for orange zones, that might ease off little bit more, because right now, except for emergency travels, there is nothing whatsoever being permitted inter-district, even within the district. The very fact that you have 2 people now who can be on a scooter, on a two-wheeler itself is quite a bit of a lenient move, because still now, even in an orange zone, it was just 1 person on a scooter that was allowed. Even in a car, you have 3 people who will be traveling. So the Chief Minister, with all of these paraphernalias by the MHA, will be deciding further on this.
Ratnadeep, so you're in an area where you can do a lot more, except the nationwide issues. You can't obviously fly by a flight. No flights are operating, except in specific conditions. MHA guidelines would operate. No rail travel, no buses. So apart from that, would your life or the life of people around you be moving back to normal in terms of work?
That's right, Vishnu. In fact, life would limp back to normalcy. It is limping back to normalcy in Northeast. This is one region which has seen least number of cases if you compare to the other parts of the country. But all the state governments in the Northeast want it to remain this way. Remember, in Assam, there are 33 districts. 30 districts are in green zone. 3 of them are in orange. No district is in red zone in the new list. But only yesterday we reported that one green zone district in Assam, Bongaigaon, suddenly reported 4 cases, and all the cases, there was no travel history, there was no, history of contact with a COVID-19 positive case. So, it takes a matter of a few tests and few samples and few contacts for a green zone to turn into orange, and further, if the infection spreads, so it turns into a red zone. So this is exactly what government of Assam and other state governments in the northeast would like to avoid, because there is a bigger concern. The bigger concern is the migrants from northeast who are already stranded in different parts of the country. They would come back. They would be brought back by all the state governments. The efforts are already on. So there is always chances of these people being carriers of the virus. Remember, they would be coming back largely from orange zones, and a few of them have already moved out from red zone areas. So that is a major concern for people here, for the state governments, in terms of the preparations. And that's why all the state governments in the northeast were of the opinion that either the lockdown should continue or it should only be withdrawn in a staggered manner. And it happened that way. So as of now, it is going according to plan. But having said that, northeast being a landlocked area, it is dependent on areas which are in orange zone and green zone for different activities. So it will wait to see how the overall situation in the country improves as well, Vishnu.
All right, Sneha and Ratnadeep, thanks very much for joining us with those details. Well, we're going to try and get a couple of reactions now from across the country. I'm joined by Shaina NC, who joins me from Mumbai. Shaina, thanks very much for being with us. Let's look at the large picture first, what the Prime Minister has been trying to achieve over here. And I think the larger message is that people need to be careful, that whatever has been opened up deliberately but very cautiously, that we aren't in a normal sort of situation right now, and that this lockdown has been extended because frankly there is no other choice. That's my interpretation. Would you agree?
No, I think I would agree to a certain extent, yes. But for all those people who were in this zone trying to say that, things are ambiguous, how long is this lockdown going to last? Is the extension going to be 2 weeks or more? Or is it going to be phased out? The Ministry of Home has done a fantastic job by explaining point by point, zone by zone, red, orange, green, highlighting what the relaxations are and what the restrictions are. And for those who have always kind of wondered as to how we can turn a red into orange or an orange into green, that too has been highlighted. And I'm glad that the Ministry of Home, and if you allow me to say this on your channel, that the few things which are guidelines, which are limited in terms of activity and will remain prohibited throughout the country, is something that everyone needs to know, Vishnu. And these include obviously travel by air, rail, metro, interstate, movement by road, running of schools, colleges, educational training, coaching institutes, hospitality services, including hotels, restaurants, places of large public gatherings such as cinema halls, malls, gymnasiums, sports complexes, etc., social, political, cultural, other activities, including religious places, places of worship for public, and the movement of persons who believe that it is imperative must be permitted by the Ministry of Home Affairs. So it is absolutely crystal clear what we can do and what we cannot, or what we should do and what we should not.
I take that point, Shaina.
And for all of us,
I think that's an important point. That, they've spelled it out A to Z over here.
Absolutely.
In the goal that, look, let there not be some sort of confusion or whatever. And in addition to what you're mentioning, there is an appendix as well, which spells it out even in more detail. So, Dinesh Bhai Trivedi joins us, spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Would you say that this is the logical thing to do? Because if you look at the spread of COVID in the country, even though the rate of the spread of the disease is low, the absolute numbers may be low, we are nowhere close to fixing this problem. So we need to buy time to save people. That being the case, do you think that this is frankly as much as the Prime Minister or the government could have done at this stage?
Vishnu, we all know that these are extraordinary times. These are difficult times, and the country obviously has to work as one solid single unit. But because of various reasons, you see, we have to recognize that at the moment the country is under NDMA, under the central rule, which has the constitutional provision is there. So I'm not against that. But having said that, I think there has to be a very close consultancy with the state governments, because what happens? The Home Ministry rightly has given certain instruction, circular, etc. But ultimately, this needs to be implemented by the state government.
Yes.
Now, for instance, I'll give you, Vishnu, a simple example. I don't know about other states, but I know other states have also written to the ministries concerned in center. In federal structure, you need to definitely work very close to the state. For instance, in Bengal, I'll give you the names of Kalimpong district, Jalpaiguri district, Murshidabad, Malda, and Purvo Bardhaman. They are, as per the state, not in the red zone because the cases have come down. So the central government, the federal government has declared that Bengal has 10 districts under red zone,
right,
which is not true. So I think in this federal structure, you need to have trust and belief in your state governments as well.
Okay, so Dinesh, I take your point that there needs to be a close coordination on this
very,
between
very
the
close
state and the
coordination.
center.
Absolutely.
But just one moment, sir, because we are out of time on this. I need to go across to Anil Deshmukh, the Maharashtra Home Minister, who's also with us. Mr. Deshmukh, what does this mean for, say, a city like Mumbai? Is there anything new over here which realistically changes things for Mumbai, which is in a lockdown perhaps more than any other city in India?
ऐसा है कि मुंबई में यहाँ पे मुंबई शहर जो है ये रेड जोन में है
जी,
और पूरे महाराष्ट्र में हमने पूरे महाराष्ट्र को 3 जोन में बंटवारा किया है। एक रेड जोन, सेकंड ऑरेंज जोन और तीसरा ग्रीन जोन। ग्रीन जोन में काफी हद तक रियायतें दी जा सकती है, ऑरेंज जोन में कुछ कम हद तक रियायतें दी जा सकती है, लेकिन जो रेड जोन है, रेड जोन में इसी प्रकार का लॉकडाउन जो अभी तक जो जारी था उसी प्रकार का लॉकडाउन आगे भी जारी रखना पड़ेगा। वहां पे थोड़ा सख्ती से काम लेना पड़ेगा कि वहां पे जो केसेस है वो ज्यादा है करके उसके ऊपर कंट्रोल पाने के लिए उसको आप कंटिन्यू करना पड़ेगा। उसी प्रकार की पाबंदी वहां पे रहेंगी रेड जोन में। इसके बारे में सभी रेड जोन, ग्रीन जोन और ऑरेंज जोन के बारे में जल्द से जल्द 1-2 दिन में हमारा राज्य शासन पूरी कौन से ग्रीन जोन में क्या रियायतें दी जाएंगी, ऑरेंज में क्या रियायतें दी जाएंगी, उसके बारे में डिटेल प्रोग्राम जाहिर करेंगी। लेकिन यहाँ पे एक आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि पूरे महाराष्ट्र में जो भी रेड जोन है, जो भी इलाके रेड जोन है, चाहे मुंबई हो, पुणे हो, मालेगांव हो या नई मुंबई हो, जो भी इलाके हैं वहां पे हमारे पूरी मशीनरी, हमारे पूरे डॉक्टर्स, नर्सेस, हमारे पुलिसकर्मी, बाकी जो साफ सफाई करने वाले हमारे सभी महानगर पालिका के सभी हमारे साथी, ये बड़े जद्दोजहद से दिन रात इस महामारी को कंट्रोल करने के लिए, इस संक्रमण को कंट्रोल करने के लिए दिन रात यहाँ पे हम लड़ रहे हैं। और मैं आपको यकीन दिलाना चाहता हूँ कि जिस प्रकार से हमारी पूरी यंत्रणा यहाँ पे लड़ रही है, जिस मुस्तैदी के साथ हम यहाँ पे लड़ रहे हैं, हम 100% इसके ऊपर काबू पाएंगे और इसको जल्द से जल्द कंट्रोल करेंगे।
अनिल जी ये बताइए,
मैं और बताना चाहता हूँ
अनिल जी ये बताइए, वर्क फ्रॉम होम को इनकरेज किया गया है यहाँ एसेंशियल सर्विसेज और कुछ एरियाज में लोगों को बताया गया कि यू कैन ओपन अप योर कंपनीज बट ओनली 33% ऑफ पीपल कैन वर्क ओवर देयर। तो मुंबई शहर में जो हमारा कमर्शियल कैपिटल है वहां किस हद तक इससे कोई फायदा होगा रेड जोन्स में, या तो एकदम बंद रहेगा मुंबई शहर एज फार एज वर्क इज कंसर्न्ड?
कैसा है कि मैं पहले ही बताया कि जो इलाके रेड जोन में आते हैं या ऑरेंज में आते हैं या ग्रीन जोन में आते हैं, उसके लिए एक दो दिन में राज्य शासन वहां पे डिक्लेयर करेंगे कि
क्योंकि रेड जोन के अलावा कंटेनमेंट जोन है, कंटेनमेंट जोन में कुछ काम हो नहीं सकता है, दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली क्लियर। पर रेड जोन के अंदर कुछ परमिशन दिया गया है। फॉर एग्जांपल कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क इज अलाउड इफ आउटसाइड लेबर इज नॉट अलाउड, और वर्क फ्रॉम होम में लोग काम करें। अगर 33% स्टाफ किसी कंपनी रिस्ट्रिक्टेड लिस्ट पे जो है अगर वो काम करना चाहता है शायद उनको परमिशन दिया जाएगा, पर दिस डिपेंड्स ऑन द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट। तो इस बारे में आपका क्या राय है?
वही मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि एक दो दिन में राज्य शासन डिक्लेयर करेगा कि रेड जोन में किस प्रकार की पाबंदी रहेंगी, कौन सी रियायतें दी जा सकती है, उस प्रकार ऑरेंज जोन और ग्रीन जोन में भी किस प्रकार की रियायतें दी जा सकती है। इसके बारे में हमारी गवर्नमेंट की ऑफ महाराष्ट्र की पॉलिसी एक दो दिन में आएंगी। लेकिन आज की तारीख में किस प्रकार से रेड जोन जो है वहां पे मुझे उम्मीद नहीं है कि ज्यादा जहां पे कुछ रियायतें दी जा सकती है, क्योंकि वहां पे बड़े सख्ती से हमको वहां पे पेश आना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि इसी प्रकार का लॉकडाउन वहां पे कंटिन्यू करना पड़ेगा। पर उसके पूरे डिटेल्स एक दो दिन में राज्य शासन जाहिर करेगी।
All right, Anil Deshmukh, Home Minister of Maharashtra, thank you very much for speaking to us and explaining the position of your government. We look forward to reading and hearing what the new state guidelines are once you come out with it. Thanks very much indeed. In the meanwhile, just in the last few moments, there is some detail which has actually come from one of India's largest e-commerce player, Amazon India. Remember, essential services only are being allowed in red zones. However, e-commerce services of non-essential items is being allowed in orange and green zones. So here's the statement, I've just got it. It says, we welcome the government's decision to allow e-commerce in orange and green zones to serve people's safety with products that they need and have not been able to access due to the lockdown. Millions of small and medium businesses and traders will now be able to jumpstart their businesses and livelihoods across their workforce. I'm just skipping through this fairly lengthy statement. This is important. While we maintain the sanctity of the new guidelines around the red zones, we urge the government to consider the positive role e-commerce can play to get customers all priority products that they need in the red zones as well, enabling a stronger economic support for the small businesses while prioritizing safety. This is from Amazon India. So what they're trying to say is that please allow all items essentially to be sold through e-commerce activities in red zones as well, not just essential items. However, at the moment the government has said as far as e-commerce services are concerned, it's only essential services, not essential items, not non-essential items which are being allowed. So the bottom line over here is that these are very detailed guidelines which have been spelled out by the Home Ministry on what is allowed in every single category. It's important to understand that this does not mean that the lockdown is over. Far from it. In fact, the lockdown has been extended for at least another 2 weeks. Schools, colleges, everything shut. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. no activity. Whatever activity is allowed in the different areas is under restrictions. Social distancing is a must. People above 60 years of age, those under 10 years of age shouldn't be stepping out under any circumstances. The battle against COVID is by no means over. Yes, India has cut down on the number of people who have died, but in terms of the absolute numbers of cases, they are going up, and therefore we need to look at the larger story as well, what this exercise is all about. The exercise is designed to prevent deaths in our country. The exercise is designed to ensure that people don't fall ill. That's what we're looking at over here, which is why the second consecutive extension of the lockdown in the country. Many more details with all of this in our next few bulletins. Stay tuned.